When Aisha's sister storms into the living room and claims the house, Aisha is shocked and confused, realizing her parents secretly support Haina's demand. Aisha immediately senses something deeper is happening. She remembers years of favoritism in the family, Haina receiving praise, gifts, and attention, while Aisha was expected to sacrifice, care for their sick mother, pay bills, and maintain the home. Recent strange behaviors begin to make sense, her parents whispering behind doors, hiding papers, avoiding financial discussions, and Haina visiting frequently, inspecting the house as if she already owned it. Haina's fiancé even spoke about the house as part of their future, confirming a planned takeover. Aisha demands to see legal documents. Her parents panic, refuse to show anything, and try to pressure her emotionally. Haina mocks her and tells her she isn't worthy of the house. Aisha ignores the manipulation and calls the family lawyer. The lawyer reveals the shocking truth. No transfer has ever occurred, and according to her grandfather's official will, the house belongs solely to Aisha. Her parents tried months earlier to convince the lawyer to hide or alter the will, but he documented everything. Aisha confronts her family with the truth and forces them to meet the lawyer. At the office, the original will, property papers, and evidence of her parents' attempt to hide the will are revealed. Haina explodes, her parents break down, and Aisha leaves with certified copies proving her legal ownership. Aisha returns home and secures the property by changing locks, updating registration, installing security, and clearing the house. Haina sends angry messages, her parents beg her to reconsider, but Aisha refuses. Relatives react with mixed opinions. Haina's engagement collapses because she won't inherit the house. Aisha regains control of her life, restores the home, and finds peace. The house becomes a symbol of her strength and the truth her family tried to hide. A peaceful afternoon settles across the quiet house. Sunlight streams softly through the windows as Aisha sits at the dining table, sorting through financial papers and finalizing plans for her upcoming business trip. The home feels warm, lived in, and familiar, a place shaped by her effort, discipline, and the countless responsibilities she has carried alone. For her, this house is more than walls, it's stability, routine, and the result of years of sacrifice. Then the front door swings open with a force that shatters the calm. Haina steps inside first, her expression radiating triumph, like someone arriving to claim a long-awaited prize. Her parents follow behind her but remain strangely quiet, their posture stiff, their eyes avoiding Aisha entirely. Before anyone can speak, Haina tosses her handbag onto a chair and announces with theatrical confidence. "This house was always meant for me, pack your bags. I'm moving in." Aisha freezes, caught between shock and disbelief. She searches her parents' faces for denial, clarity, some indication that this is a misunderstanding, but all she finds is guilt and silence. Her father clears his throat and forces a shaky explanation. "Your sister is getting married. She deserves the house. It's time you moved out." Her mother takes a hesitant step forward. "Your sister needs stability. You're independent. You'll manage." Haina leans back, smirking, tapping her nails on the wooden table as if sealing her victory. "You heard them. Start packing. I want your room." The atmosphere shifts instantly, heavy, suffocating, unreal. Aisha feels the betrayal settle around her like smoke. This isn't a discussion. It isn't a request. It's a decision they made long before she ever entered the room. The moment hangs in the air, pulling Aisha backward into years she had tried not to revisit. The past rises sharply, painting a clear picture of a lifelong pattern she once normalized but can no longer ignore. Growing up, Haina was always the adored child, the shining center of attention at every family gathering, the daughter praised endlessly for her beauty, her charm, her mere presence. She received everything in abundance, the newest clothes, the biggest allowance, the trendiest toys, and the kind of admiration that made her believe the world owed her more. Aisha's world was entirely different. She was the understanding one, the sibling expected to compromise, adjust, and quietly fill in every gap the family didn't want to acknowledge. Whenever she asked for something, the response was predictable. "Your sister needs this more. Let her have it. You're older. Be mature." Praise rarely reached her. Even her achievements, academic awards, successes at work, moments that deserved celebration, were brushed aside or overshadowed by Heine's whims. Adulthood did not change the dynamic, it only shifted it into something more burdensome. When their mother became seriously ill, it was Aisha who took charge, managing medications, scheduling hospital visits, and enduring long nights of worry. When their father lost his job unexpectedly, it was Aisha who quietly stepped in, covering bills, groceries, and utilities. When the house began falling apart, leaking pipes, faulty wiring, aging walls, Aisha hired plumbers, electricians, and carpenters, paying the entire cost from her own savings. Heine contributed nothing. Yet she enjoyed every comfort that Aisha's sacrifices provided. Looking back now, the truth is unmistakable. Heine has always taken from Aisha, and their parents have always allowed it, even encouraged it. Trying to seize the house is simply the largest theft in a lifetime of smaller ones. In the days leading up to the confrontation, Aisha had sensed something shifting beneath the surface, small signs that didn't mean much on their own but now form a clear, painful pattern. Her parents had begun behaving in ways that were uncharacteristic, secretive, and tense, as though they were hiding a truth too fragile to withstand questions. Whispered conversations started happening behind closed doors. Whenever Aisha walked into the room, the talking would instantly stop, replaced by awkward smiles and forced small talk. Her father, a man who normally left paperwork scattered around the house without a second thought, began hurriedly tucking documents under cushions or sliding them into folders the moment she appeared. Her mother avoided any discussion involving bills, property, or future plans, topics they once openly shared with Aisha. And then there was Heine. She suddenly began visiting far more often, strutting through the house with a critical, calculating gaze. She examined door frames, peered into rooms, measured spaces with her eyes, as though mentally rearranging the furniture in a home she fully expected to occupy. Her fiancé accompanied her sometimes, loud, boastful, and dripping with arrogance. Each visit, he'd make comments like, "This place will be perfect for us once we're married." Those words lodged themselves into Aisha's mind, unsettling but unclear. Her parents added their own cryptic remarks. "We need to make important decisions before the wedding. You should start thinking about living independently. We'll explain everything soon." At the time, Aisha dismissed it as wedding pressure. But now, with Heine demanding the house and her parents supporting her, the truth stands out starkly. They had been planning this. Not for days. Not out of sudden desperation. For weeks, maybe months, they had prepared to remove her from her own home. And today was the day they chose to execute that plan. Instead of reacting the way her family expects, crying, arguing, or collapsing, Aisha rises from her chair with controlled, deliberate calm. Her silence carries more weight than anger ever could. She looks directly at her parents and asks, voice steady and clear, "Where are the documents? Show me the deed." Her parents freeze. Her father's jaw tightens. Her mother's fingers twist nervously in her shawl. Heine, of course, fills the silence with loud, mocking confidence. "Why are you being childish?" she scoffs. "Everyone knows this house is mine. Mom and Dad already explained." Aisha doesn't flinch. "Show me the legal papers that give you ownership." Her father's voice sharpens instantly. "We don't need to show you anything. We've made our decision." Her mother steps closer, pleading softly. "Please don't complicate things. This is for the family. For your sister's future." But Aisha refuses to be guilted, pressured, or dismissed. "If this is legal," she says, keeping her tone even, then proving it should be simple. The room grows thick with tension. Her parents exchange a quick, panicked glance, the kind that silently admits something is terribly wrong. Heine, irritated by Aisha's calmness, snaps harshly. "You're not rich. You're not married. You don't even need this place. Stop acting like it matters to you." Aisha steps back from the table and reaches for her phone. "I'm calling the lawyer." The reaction is immediate and explosive. Her father's eyes widen in fear. "Don't bring outsiders into this," he shouts. Her mother gasps and reaches toward her. But Aisha has already dialed the number. For the first time, she sees the truth clearly. Something is deeply wrong and she is done allowing them to hide it. Aisha steps into the hallway with her phone pressed tightly to her ear, forcing her voice to stay steady as she explains everything to the family lawyer, Mr. Clark. She lays out each detail: Heine's announcement, her parents' sudden decision, their refusal to show documents. For a moment after she finishes speaking, there is only silence on the other end. Then Mr. Clark says, sounding genuinely confused, "Transfer? There's been no legal transfer. No record at all." Aisha grips the phone tighter. "Can you check the property registration?" she asks quietly. "I will," he replies. "Give me some time. I'll call you back." The wait is excruciating. Inside the living room, she hears muffled arguing, Heine's shrill voice, her father's raised tone, her mother's anxious pleas, but Aisha blocks it all out. She steps outside, staring at the garden she cared for, the place she watered, trimmed, and nurtured for years. Her heart beats with dread and a strange, simmering anger. Hours later, the phone rings. Mr. Clark's voice is heavy, solemn. "Aisha, I've checked everything. You need to listen carefully." She feels the world still around her. "The house is still legally part of your grandfather's estate," he says. "And according to the will, the property belongs to you, only you." Aisha shuts her eyes as the words sink in. Mr. Clark continues, explaining that her grandfather made the decision intentionally. He left the home to her because she cared for him, supported him in his final years, and treated the house with respect. The will is valid, notarized, recorded, and fully enforceable. Then comes the part that hits even harder. "Months ago," the lawyer adds, "your parents approached me privately. They suggested the will should be set aside or misplaced. They wanted the property divided differently to fit their plans." A wave of cold washes through Aisha's chest. "I refused," he says firmly. "And I documented the entire conversation." One truth after another slams into her. Her parents knew. They hid the will. They lied to Heine. And they planned to illegally remove her from the home her grandfather entrusted to her. The betrayal is deeper than she ever imagined. But for the first time, she holds the truth in her hands. Aisha steps back into the living room, the truth still echoing in her mind. Her family sits waiting, their irritation obvious, as if she is the one causing problems by taking too long. Heine taps her foot impatiently, her parents exchange tense glances, all three of them ready to resume their pressure. Aisha walks to the center of the room, sets her phone on the table, and says clearly, "Grandpa left this house to me." The reaction is instant and explosive. Her father's shoulders drop, the facade of confidence collapsing. Her mother's lips tremble as guilt floods her expression. Heine's eyes widen, fury flashing like a spark catching fire. "That's not true." Heine screams. "He loved Emmy more." Aisha doesn't raise her voice. She doesn't even blink. "The will is legal. The property is mine." Heine's rage erupts. "You don't deserve it. You're boring. You're worthless. I need it more than you ever will." Their parents scramble to twist the narrative, desperate to regain control. "We thought this would be better for the family," her mother says. "Heine is starting a new life," her father adds quickly. "You're strong, you'll manage anywhere. She needs support." Aisha stands firm, her voice calm but unyielding. "You tried to hide a legal document," she says. "You tried to steal my inheritance." Her father steps forward, raising his voice to overpower hers, but Aisha cuts through him with steady finality. "Tomorrow morning, we go to the lawyer's office. All of us. No more lies." A heavy silence settles over the room. Cornered by truth and legality, her family has no choice left. They agree. The next morning, the family arrives at Mr. Clark's office in heavy silence. No one speaks as they walk inside. The atmosphere is suffocating, thick with tension, fear, and the weight of truths they can no longer avoid. Heine sits stiffly, her jaw tight. Their parents shift nervously, avoiding Aisha's eyes. Mr. Clark greets them with calm professionalism and guides them into the conference room. He gestures for everyone to take their seats before setting a large, thick file on the desk between them. The sound of the folder hitting the table feels like a verdict. He opens it slowly. Inside are the documents that hold the truth. The original will. The deed transfer instructions. Handwritten notes from Aisha's grandfather. Official legal attachments. And a statement documenting her parents' attempt to have the will hidden. Mr. Clark clears his throat and reads aloud the most important line, the line that seals everything. I leave my home to Aisha, who has shown me loyalty, care, and love during the final years of my life. The words cut through the room like a blade. Heine shoots to her feet, outrage exploding from her. This is fake. You forged this for her. Grandpa would never choose her over me. Mr. Clark doesn't flinch. The will is fully authenticated and registered in government records. Its validity is unquestionable. Her parents jump in quickly, voices trembling as they grasp for a last shred of control. This decision is unfair. It doesn't match the family's current needs. We were only trying to do what's best. Mr. Clark closes the folder sharply. Attempting to hide a will is fraud, he says. And I have documented your request to set it aside. Silence floods the room. Heine bursts into tears and storms out, shouting that she will fight for what's hers. Her parents remain seated, pale and shaking, unable to speak, their plan fully exposed, their power gone. Mr. Clark hands Aisha certified copies of all documents and calmly advises her to immediately solidify her legal control of the property. In this moment, every lie collapses. And the truth finally belongs to Aisha. Aisha returns home with a steady, unshakable sense of purpose. The moment she steps through the door, the house feels different, no longer a place of uncertainty, but a place she is ready to reclaim fully. She wastes no time. She changes the locks, removing every point of access her parents and sister once used without hesitation. She updates the property registration records, ensuring every legal trail now leads solely to her name. She installs security cameras around the house, creating a shield of protection she never realized she needed. She places the certified documents from Mr. Clark into a secure safe, locking away the truth that saved her. She clears the clutter her family left behind, boxes, old decorations, forgotten belongings, and breathes easier with each piece removed. She restores rooms that had been neglected for years, cleaning, repairing, and reviving the warmth they once held. Slowly, the space begins to change. Slowly, the house begins to feel like hers, not just legally, but emotionally, spiritually, finally. Then the messages start. Heine sends dozens of furious texts accusing her of ruining her future, destroying her life, and stealing the house. Aisha blocks her number without hesitation. A day later, her parents appear at the gate, demanding she reconsider for the family, pleading for a compromise. Aisha steps outside, calm and resolute. No. This home is mine. You tried to take it from me. This conversation is over. She turns, closes the gate, and the loud metallic click echoes through the air, the sound of an old chapter ending forever. Word of what happened spreads through the family faster than Aisha expects. Within days, relatives begin calling, texting, and whispering among themselves. Some express shock that her parents hid the will, genuinely disturbed by the deception. Others, more loyal to tradition than truth, accuse Aisha of dividing the family and bringing shame by involving lawyers. Not one of them mentions the years she spent paying bills, caring for her mother, maintaining the house, or quietly carrying burdens no one else would touch. Not one of them acknowledges the manipulation and secrecy she endured for months. Their judgment is selective, their sympathy shallow. Meanwhile, Heine's world crumbles. Her wedding plans disintegrate almost immediately. Her fiancé, who once boasted confidently about their future in their house, ends the engagement. He claims they are incompatible, but everyone knows the truth. He was counting on the property, and without it, he sees no future with her. Heine spirals into rage. She tells anyone who will listen that Aisha ruined everything, that Aisha stole what was meant for her, that her life fell apart because of her sister's selfishness. But those who have watched the family dynamics for years know better. They know Heine expected a gift she never earned, and she is angry not because she lost something, but because she was never entitled to it in the first place. Her parents withdraw into uncomfortable silence, too embarrassed to face the reality of what they attempted and resentful that their plan failed so completely. They keep their distance from Aisha, unsure how to approach her now that the truth is out. But for the first time in her life, Aisha doesn't bend, doesn't apologize, doesn't carry guilt that was never hers. She chooses peace. She chooses herself. And she refuses to let their expectations shape her life ever again. Aisha throws herself into restoring the house, room by room, reclaiming not only the space but the parts of herself that had been buried under years of sacrifice. She begins with the walls, choosing a warm cream shade that softens every corner and brings new light into the home. The dull, faded curtains are replaced with airy, modern ones that allow sunlight to spill into the rooms. With each change, the house feels less like a battleground and more like a beginning. She renovates the kitchen next, transforming it into a modern, functional space, sleek counters, organized shelves, updated appliances. For the first time, the kitchen feels like a place where she can breathe, cook, and enjoy the life she's building for herself. Outside, she plants roses and jasmine in the garden. Soon, their fragrance fills the air, reminding her that growth can follow even the harshest storm. A spare room becomes a home office, bright, orderly, and hopeful. She arranges her desk, adds soft lighting, and places a small plant near the window. It becomes a room for planning her future, not fixing the past. With each renovation, the house slowly transforms into a sanctuary, warm, safe, and genuinely hers. The weight on her chest lightens, replaced by a steady, rising confidence. The home reflects her taste, her choices, and most importantly, her strength. Every nail she hammers, every wall she paints, every flower she plants becomes a quiet declaration. She is rebuilding not just the house, but herself. Weeks pass, and the transformation becomes unmistakable. The house glows with renewed warmth, peaceful, restored, and whole in a way it has never been before. The once a heavy atmosphere is gone, replaced by a quiet serenity that settles into every room Aisha touched. It feels like a home reborn. Aisha walks slowly down the hallway, fingertips grazing the freshly painted walls, admiring the curtains she chose, the furniture she arranged, the plants she tended. Every corner reflects her hand, her effort, her healing. Friends who visit marvel at the changes, praising the elegance, the comfort, the light. Neighbors compliment the renovations, noting how the house finally looks alive again. Her days grow calm and steady, free from guilt, free from manipulation, free from the constant tug of family expectations. For the first time in her life, peace does not feel like a temporary guest, it feels like it belongs here. One quiet evening, Aisha steps out to the doorway as the sun dips toward the horizon. The golden light washes over the garden she planted herself, roses and jasmine blooming in colors that soften the world. She breathes in deeply, the scent carrying warmth and closure. There, framed by the doorway, she stands tall, steady, confident, unbroken. The home her family tried to steal now stands as her greatest victory. She is not just the legal owner. She is the rightful one. And the life inside these walls is finally hers.